Come on, guys, I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, listen. It's a strange, crazy story out of Chicago, and it's sad all the same. This happened supposedly on the west side of Chicago. Shout out Chicago, by the way. This happened this past Saturday, and it's about this young lady right here, man. God rest her soul. This lady right here, this young lady, is 17-year-old Cheyenne Washington of Chicago, Illinois. And she was strangled over the weekend. You know, she's a mother of a 1-year-old child. And she was strangled by her boyfriend. This guy right here is 18-year-old Michael Cunningham. He strangled her in the apartment where he lives, in his room. And it's unfortunate. This guy has a history of violence at 18 years old, guys. And he took the life of a 17-year-old mother. I want you to think about that for a second. Domestic violence is rising. We know that. There are a lot of people that can't, get their own problems out of their head and resolve conflict within themselves. So they pour it out on other people. But I mean, I've never seen so many young people trying to find love, and it winds up in bloodshed and death. Here's her story. Check this out.
We are learning more about what led up to the death of a 17-year-old girl in the city's North Lawndale neighborhood, and we do need to warn you, the details are disturbing.
Her boyfriend, who is charged in her murder, appeared in court today. WGN's Alyssa Donovan is live at 26th in California with more. Alyssa.
Yeah, Ben and Micah, that 18-year-old allegedly strangled and killed his 17-year-old girlfriend over the weekend. Today, both of those teens' families were in the courtroom, which led to some very tense moments. And eventually, as the hearing ended, a brawl in the courtroom. Family members of a murdered teen escorted out of the Cook County Courthouse Tuesday following a fight inside the courtroom with relatives of the teen's alleged killer. 18-year-old Michael Cunningham is charged with first-degree murder in the death of his girlfriend, 17-year-old Cheyenne Washington. According to the state's attorney, first responders were directed to Cunningham's home in the 1200 block of South Washtenaw Avenue in North Lawndale at 1 p.m. Saturday, where they found Washington unresponsive and slumped over in the living room. The 17-year-old had old bruises, new bruises, and visible trauma to her face, neck, and shoulders. The Cook County medical examiner ruling she died from asphyxia and assault. During today's hearing, the prosecutor said Washington had stayed the night at Cunningham's, where they smoked weed in his bedroom before falling asleep. According to his statement to police, Cunningham awoke several times throughout the night to find his girlfriend unresponsive, slapping her to try and wake her, but says she was still breathing. In the morning, she would not wake up, so he contacted her brother, who called police. Cunningham was taken into custody, and police say he admitted to strangling Washington on 2 separate occasions. Stains believed to be her blood were also discovered in his room. And according to the state's attorney, Cunningham has 2 prior domestic violence incidents, including one where another victim accused him of strangling her. That was back in 2022. The judge ruled today that Cunningham will be detained pending his trial. His next date in court is April 2nd. We're live tonight at 26th and Cal. Alyssa Donovan, WGN News.
Hey guys, that's the story. And before I really get into it, I want to touch on one thing. I'm going to show you a video of the mother. After she, the news has been out, she spoke to the media. She's upset and she's sad. And she said something that I always say in my videos from an empathetic point of view, from what the family goes through after finding out that their child or family member died a horrific way. And this is something that we, a lot of times, don't even think about what people go through, as even though they're not the immediate victim, they're a victim all the same. And that feeling of helplessness and powerlessness after you find out what happened to your child or loved one and you weren't there to help them, it has a lasting effect on you. And I want to show it to you real quick. But before I show it to you, I want to say something. When you watch this, you know, they always show, you know, the closeness that parents have with the children, which is no problem. But I mean, there has to be a line or divide between a parent and a friend sometimes. And I mean, there's no disrespect to this woman, but I think everybody needs to know this. You know, this child is still a minor at 17. Even though she has a child, she's still in your house. You have some type of control over the situation. And I just want you to take a look at this because this lady's hurting, man. And I'll come back and explain what I mean by that. Take a look.
Because all I could think about, she probably was calling my name and I couldn't save her.
The bond with her first daughter is forever broken. Gone with her are kisses that will never peck the cheeks
Your mommy kiss.
of 1-year-old Cheyenne.
It's devastating because one day I'm going to have to eventually tell him.
The infant's mother, Cheyenne Washington, police say was found Saturday unresponsive after allegedly being strangled in this first-floor apartment on Washtenaw near 13th in Douglas Park. The 17-year-old was taken to nearby Mount Sinai Hospital where doctors couldn't save her.
And like, what was so bad that you had to take her life like that, man?
Before the tragic discovery, Elena Bell tells me her daughter was having confrontations with someone who lives in the unit where police say she was eventually killed.
I spoke to her about it. I said, I don't think it's a good idea. I think y'all should end that. Like, it's toxic. You still young. You got your life ahead of you.
A life now gone, but the pain everlasting.
I'm sorry that I wasn't there to protect you, and I couldn't hold you and tell you I love you.
Man, I feel really bad for that lady. But you see she's going through it and she feels as though she failed her child. And you've seen her say, you know, in the beginning of that part, now that video was done yesterday before this video came out today. The first video, the video that you just seen with the mother happened before the news video I showed you where it showed who the suspect was. Because when I first seen that, I seen that video first. And I'm like, she said it was a toxic relationship. I said, it's a domestic type abuse situation. And they come to find out it was. But did you hear what the mother said in the beginning? This is something I want you guys to understand. When these crimes happen, it affects a wide range of people, not even directly involved in the action itself. What did she say? I bet she cried for me, thought about me, when our very life existence was being choked from her body, called her name. This is what people, like, you know, parents and friends and family of victims that are closely related to what somebody's going through thinks about. That in itself is just as brutal and taxing on your body stress-wise as hearing the news of the actual act that happened. What did she say at the end? Ooh, I'm getting emotional. She said, I'm sorry. I feel like I failed you. And a lot of people feel like that. Here you got this 18-year-old boy with a history going back to 2022 of beating women up. That's 2 years ago. So he's 16 years old fighting on girls in relationship. Some people don't know how to love. They know they want to love, but they don't know how to love or what love is. Now here he is, 18 years old, and he threw his life away. You killed a woman, a young woman, right? With a baby boy, and a mother, both of whom you've seen before, didn't think nothing about them when you choked the life out of this girl. Because of your own selfishness. I want you to think about that. I want you to really think about that. Now, what I meant when I was talking earlier about being a friend and a parent, you hear what she said? She said, you know, I told her, y'all need to stop that. Y'all need to end that. It's toxic. Listen, that girl is 17 years old, ma'am, and I feel your pain. And you handled it the way you felt as though you had to handle it. But a lot of times, if a child is in your house and you see they going through something, you still had some power and influence. She's in your house, living under your roof. You had a closeness with her. You know, you said, hey, y'all need to stop that. I didn't hear you say, hey, leave this dude alone. You had power. You could have called the cops. She was beat up multiple times. Remember, said she had old bruises and new bruises. So you knew about it. Why would you even let her back around him? Why would you not even send the police over there after the first incident? That's the part I don't know. And I mean, I don't know. And I'm not upset saying she don't have a right to be upset, because people handle things the way they handle them sometimes. But I mean, as an older woman, nobody wants to you ain't gonna let nobody beat on you. I'll be damned if I let somebody beat on my daughter. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, she handled it the way she handled it. I don't know. I don't. And I don't mean to be offensive, because it's a lost life here. A baby left by itself. The cycle continues. And now grandma got to raise the son, because somebody couldn't control themselves in a fit of anger with somebody that they supposedly love. He killed this girl in his room, strangled the life out of her. That's a quiet kill. I don't know if you guys know, that's a quiet kill. Of course, you can't scream because you push out what air you trying to keep in you to continue to fight to, get the thing off your neck. Besides stuff falling down and getting knocked over from the kicking and struggling, the killer can move you all over the damn place. She suffered. And for what? 18 years old, and he knew to do that to her? Seriously, this brings me to my second point. History repeats itself. I don't know how long she known him, but he showed signs that he was an abuser. And this goes back to what I was saying. A lot of these young people nowadays, they want love. They don't know how to love. And they don't even know what love is sometimes. How many times you met somebody a long time ago? A lot of us are older that watch this channel, or a lot of younger people. I want you to chime in the comment section. Tell me, how many times have you seen somebody tell you they love you and it only been a day? And you're like, what? You don't know me. Love is understanding someone. You don't gain understanding in one day. You can gain affinity for somebody, like strong, intense feelings, because you want something to happen so bad. But I mean, it takes time, sometimes even years. It does. People fall in love with the wrong things and claim they say they love somebody, whether it's their beauty, might be the sex, sometimes might be the, just being around that person, how they make them feel when they feel like they love them. It takes time. And when you love somebody, like, I don't throw that word out loosely. When you love somebody, you what? You protect them. You want you want their best interests in mind. You grow with them and you build with them. This type of person right here, none of them apply to them. None of them apply. Can't build with them, can't grow with them, can't love them, and can't, whatever else I named, which I forgot. But you understand what I'm saying. This got to stop. I mean, and we see younger and younger people. A lot of times these guys come from abusive households, or they watch friends and stuff do this type of stuff, or they see their fathers do it. A lot of these young kids nowadays, they got a lot of anger and frustration in them. And if something reminds them of something that makes them mad or something like that, it blows up, and you might be the one that's caught up in the mix. No respect for authority, no respect for older people, no respect for wisdom. Everything's fast. Dudes like this are dominance driven because they're not intellectual. They don't have intellectual prowess. You ever been around a person and they'll say something and you'll say something else, and you're not correcting them. You're just saying, hey, no, this is what it's called. And they get mad at you. And you wasn't even trying to insult them. You're just trying to help them. There are a lot of people out here like that. You can't build with them. You can't. Don't want to hear anything. Just intellectually deficient. A man uses his hands when he can't use his mind and his intellect. How many times, ladies out there, and I want you to leave this in the comment section. This is a video I want you all to comment on. I want to hear you guys. How many times have you been around a man and he started not liking you because he felt as though you were more intelligent than he was? It happens. It happens. This should have never came to be. History repeats itself. This guy started this stuff at a young age, got locked up the last time and got out. And he got emboldened this time, and he got a little bit smarter with his deviousness of what he's going to do. What did she do to you, sir, Mr. Cunningham, at 18 years old that was going to ruin your life to where you had to take hers? At any given time, y'all could have parted ways. What if Cheyenne wanted to break up with him and he wouldn't let her go? The mother said she'd been having problems with the guy. The police, you got to use your outlets. There's domestic abuse hotlines and other things like that. I mean, you don't always have to try to solve it with just, in the house. It's not. Once a guy hits you, ladies, and he knows he can dominate you in that fashion, once he gets those same feelings of frustration, what you think's going to happen? He's going to let them hands go. This is craziness. It's like the new normal. I fear so much for my little girl who's 9 years old right now that she'll run into one of these beasts. Because all my children are grown and I got all boys and they're very protective of her. As I get older, woe to anybody that try that shit. For real. Seriously. I mean, we got to start protecting our own in a respectful way. And that protection is not just defending them, but teaching them intellectually what a man is supposed to do and not supposed to do, and what it really means when somebody really loves you. Everybody has to know their value. Men too. We have to know our value. Don't let nobody walk over you. And that don't mean you got to be a tough guy. You just got to understand, if you know you're a good person and you got a good agenda and that person can't adhere to it, move off. And if they follow you, go through the proper authorities and, try to keep people off it. But then again, there are instances where people won't leave you alone. It's something to think about, man. This is messed up. Just seeing that lady talk like that and looking to the camera, hurt. It's not a good feeling. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video, and be careful out there.